Hello, friend. Welcome to day 24 of 7:30. Today we're reading Genesis 28 and 29, but only the first 19 verses. So, from the New Living Translation, it reads: So Isaac called for Jacob, blessed him, and said, You must not marry any of the Canaanite women, too. Instead, go at once to Padam Aram, to the house of your grandfather Bethuel, and marry one of your uncle Laban's daughters. 3. May God Almighty bless you and give you many children, and may your descendants multiply and become many nations. For may God pass on to you and your descendants the blessings that promised to Abraham. May you own this land where you are now living as a foreigner. For God gave this land to Abraham. 5. So Isaac sent Jacob away, and he went to Padam Aram and to stay with his uncle Laban, his mother's brother, the son of Bethuel the Aramean. 6. Esau knew that his father Isaac had blessed Jacob and sent him to Padam Aram to find a wife, and that he had warned Jacob, You must not marry a Canaanite woman. 7. He also knew that Jacob had obeyed his parents and gone to Padam Aram. 8. It was now very clear to Esau that his father did not like the local Canaanite women. 9. So Esau visited his uncle Ishmael's family and married one of Ishmael's daughters, in addition to the wives he had already had. His new wife's name was Mahalath. She was the sister of Nebaioth, the daughter of Ishmael, Abraham's son. 10. Meanwhile, Jacob left Beersheba and traveled to Haran. 11. At sundown, he arrived at a good place to set up camp and stopped there for a night. Jacob found a stone to rest his head against and lay down to sleep. 12. As he slept, he dreamed of a stairway that reached from the earth to heaven, and he saw the angels of God going up and down the stairway. 13. At the top of the stairway stood the Lord, and he said, I am the Lord, the God of your grandfather Abraham, and the God of your father Isaac. The ground you are lying on belongs to you. I'm giving it to you and to your descendants. 14. Your descendants will be as numerous as the dust of the earth. They will spread out in all directions, to the west, to the east, to the north, to the south. All the families of the earth will be blessed through you and your descendants. 15. Once more, I am with you, and I will protect you wherever you go. One day I will bring you back to this land. I will not leave you until I have finished giving you everything I have promised you. 16. Then Jacob awoke from his sleep, and he said, Surely the Lord is in this place, and I wasn't even aware of it. 17. But he was also afraid and said, What an awesome place this is. It is none other than the house of God, the very gateway to heaven. 18. The next morning Jacob got up early. He took the stone he had rested his head on or against, and he set it upright as a memorial pillar. Then he poured oil over it. 19. He named the place Bethel, which means house of God. Although the name of the place or nearby village was Luz. 20. Then Jacob made this vow: If God will indeed be with me and protect me on this journey, and if he will provide me with food and clothing. 21. And if I return safely to my father's home, then the Lord will certainly be my God. 22. And this memorial pillar I have set up will become a place of worshiping God. And I will protect, or I will present to God, a tenth of everything he has given me. That was chapter 28. Now, chapter 29. Then Jacob hurried on, finally arriving in the land of the east. Too, he saw a well in the distance. 3 flocks of sheep and goats lay in the open field beside it, waiting to be watered. But a heavy stone covered the mouth of the well. 3. It was the custom there to wait for all the flocks to arrive before removing the stone and watering the animals. Afterward, the stone would be placed back over the mouth of the well. 4. Jacob went over to the shepherds and asked, Where are you from? My friends, we are from Haran, they answered. 5. Do you know a man there named Laban, the grandson of Nahor? He asked. Yes, we do, they replied. Is he doing well? Jacob asked. Yes, he's well, they answered. Look, here comes his daughter Rachel with a flock now. 7. Jacob said, Look, it's still broad daylight, too early to round up the animals. Why don't you water the sheep and the goats so they get back out to pasture? 8. We can't water the animals until all the flocks have arrived, they replied. Then the shepherds moved the stone from the mouth of the well, and we water all the sheep and goats. 9. Jacob was still talking with them when Rachel arrived with her herds, her father's flock, for she was a shepherd. 10. And because Rachel was his cousin, the daughter of Laban, his mother's brother, and because of the sheep and the goats belonged to his uncle Laban, Jacob went over to the well and removed the stone from its mouth and watered his uncle's flock. 11. Then Jacob kissed Rachel, and he wept aloud. 12. He explained to Rachel that that he was her cousin and, on her father's side, the son of her aunt Rebecca. So Rachel quickly ran and told her father Laban. 13. So, and as soon as Laban heard that his nephew Jacob had arrived, he ran out to meet him. He embraced and kissed him and brought him home. When Jacob told him his story, Laban exclaimed, that is 14, you really are my own flesh and blood. After Jacob had stayed with Laban for about a month, 15, Laban said to him, you shouldn't work for me without pay just because we are relatives. Tell me how much your wages should be. 16. Now Laban had two daughters. The older daughter was named Leah, the younger was Rachel. 17. There was no sparkle in Leah's eyes, but Rachel had a beautiful figure and a lovely face. 16. Since Jacob was in love with Rachel, he told her father, I will work for you for 7 years if you will give me Rachel, your younger daughter, as my wife. 19. Agreed, Laban replied. I'll rather give her to you than to anyone else. Stay and work with me. So that was chapter 29, verse 19. So until tomorrow, stay blessed.